Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and it's been a little while. I got really sick this past weekend, so I wasn't really up to doing any of my reviews. Hopefully I'm sounding a little bit better. If there's parts where I get a little nasally and stuff like that, it happens, but I wanted to catch up on these reviews now because it's Thanksgiving week, have some time off, and I'll probably be seeing a bunch of movies this week, so I don't want to get too far behind on my reviews. And I also want to keep continuing my series of my favorite scenes in film, so should keep checking those out as well. I already have my number 10, the Oogie Boogie song from The Nightmare Before Christmas, and also the execution scene Freedom from Braveheart. So please go check out those videos too, and all my other reviews that I've been doing recently. But to get to this review, so you're here to listen to my review of Murder on the Orient Express, which when I saw this trailer, I thought that Kenneth Branagh is very talented, this cast is really talented. Why is there an Imagine Dragons song in the middle of like this period piece? Is it going to be a little hyper modernized? It wasn't. It was very traditional, like old school period piece, but like I guess they had to sell it somehow to new people, young people, so throw some Imagine Dragons in there. But my overall thoughts, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty decent film. The directing by Kenneth Branagh, I think that he did a good job of fleshing out the story and keeping us along with all these characters and trying to balance. The unfortunate thing is this film isn't very balanced when it comes to the characters, and whether that's up to him or Michael Green, who wrote the actual screenplay. But there's so much going on in this film, and there is a lot of let me tell you kind of stuff instead of us picking up on clues along the way and stuff like that. But in terms of the pacing, honestly, the first 30 minutes of this film, I was like super hooked. The opening sequence of this film I really, really liked. It was quirky, it was fun, it was a bit campy, and I was looking forward to it. And it was jaunting along and then drags and slugs along for a little while. And I feel like it's hard to say that it's like they didn't flesh out enough of the characters, but this film felt long, and it's probably because I didn't care for much of the characters, and it was just like pulling us along on this train kind of thing. But I think the biggest issue is the tonal issues in this film, because like I mentioned before, the beginning of this film feels very campy and jaunting along, but then this gets super serious, and it's like, where'd that disconnect come from? And I kind of wish I was still watching the first part of this movie, where it was a lot of fun, and Hercule Poirot at some point in this film turns on the switch, is like, I'm not happy anymore. But like, he's very quirky and interesting, and I'll get to the characters in a second. And emotional, I have to say, the climax of this film and you finding out what happens does actually hit emotionally, and I feel like it's well handled by Branagh doing that scene, but also the performances, which is one of them. But I think the performances really elevated a lot of this material in this film. The cinematography done by Harris Zambenlocos. But the shots in this film are beautiful. I think they do a lot of really cool shots. There's an opening shot looking down a wall in Jerusalem at the beginning of this film. We're like, that's really cool. And they handle a lot of the shots very well, especially utilizing the train in this film, having it like tracking along the side and seeing all these characters in the windows and stuff and picking up on stuff like that. I thought the cinematography was done very, very well in this film. The CGI, I'm like, why is everything so CGI'd? Can't you just use a train, like outside? Really? But the CGI was a little distracting in this film. I think they used it too much, which was a little disappointing. Kind of took away from the period piece aspect of it. Because honestly, the costume design and the production design in general in this film are fantastic. and it's a beautiful film. It really is a beautiful film, and I guess it's a good enough time as any to talk about Mr. Poirot's mustache. Oh my god, that thing. It's crazy. It's a character all on its own, and it's like just sitting there on Kenneth Branagh's face, and it's fantastic. It looks so ridiculous, but it's fantastic, and I'm going to stop gushing about his mustache. Now, we're going to get to the writing. Now, the story, obviously, it's a very interesting murder mystery by Agatha Christie. I felt like a lot of the characters were really underwritten, and I felt like a lot of the story was told in the form where it's like being told to us, and it wasn't very visual storytelling. It felt like Poirot's picking up on all these things and then telling us all what's going on. And it's like, is he Angela Lansbury? Is this Murder, She Wrote? It kind of felt like it's time for the end where he's going to tell us everything. And honestly, it's really unbelievable, the story that plays out. And like, I understand that it was a famous novel and it was 3 films before this. Just the way this film was handled, I felt like it's just like, how the hell would anybody figure that out, kind of thing. And that's a little disappointing for a murder mystery. But overall, the characters, Poirot is a fantastic character, and he's really enjoyable to watch. And honestly, I do want to see him in more things, and it seems like they are setting up for more films as long as this movie makes some money, but I'm pretty sure it did. I think it's already up around its production budget in the US, and I feel like this is going to hit bigger worldwide than here, so honestly, we're probably going to see more, and I'm up for that. And I feel like some of the other characters did get some fleshing out, like the Countess, played by Daisy Ridley, the widow, played by Michelle Pfeiffer, and our gangster, played by Johnny Depp, and his, I guess, valet or whatever Josh Gad's character is supposed to be to him. I thought he had some interesting characterization, and the doctor, played by Leslie Odom Jr., I thought they had some meat to them. Everybody else is like, okay, just plop you all in there. And in terms of the dialogue, I enjoyed a lot of the dialogue. Some of it was very exposition heavy in this film, but overall I thought the interactions between the characters was very interesting. And the themes of this film hits on a very, very powerful dilemma. And I'm not going to say anything else, but I feel like it really does put a giant microscope on a very interesting human dilemma, and I thought that was very interesting, and I think that's what really hooks this whole film and what happens in this film, and it kind of weighs on the scale of that choice. And when you see the film, you'll understand what I'm talking about, but I feel like that in itself elevates this film a little bit, because it does make you really think, what would you do? And I think any film that's going to make you think afterwards and question things, I think is worth seeing, as long as everything else keeps up. Now, in terms of the music composed by Patrick Doyle, it was very nice music. I saw this a week ago. Do I remember most of the music? Not really. But it did its job, and I think it fit well within this film that was created, this world that was created. So I think that's important. And now to talk about the performances. Kenneth Branagh basically steals the show. It's a one-man show, a lot of it. And Michelle Pfeiffer and Johnny Depp in their smaller roles, I feel like get some good mileage out of what they're given, and I was very impressed by them in this film. There's a couple in the middle. I actually talked to them. They're the ones who get a little bit of fleshing out, but I wish there was more. But I think Josh Gad, Daisy Ridley, and Leslie Odom Jr. do a lot with what's given to them. Sorry. And I feel like they get to show a little bit more. And then Here are the wasted bunch, really big name people that are completely wasted. Judi Dench, Derek Jacobi, Willem Dafoe, and Penelope Cruz. Paycheck, big names to throw out there. I don't know, but they didn't get a whole lot to do in this film. Overall, I feel like Murder on the Orient Express is very much highlighted by some of its technical aspects in terms of the cinematography and the costume production design. All those things are beautiful. Some of the performances are outstanding and really help elevate this film. But honestly, on some level, it feels like a little bit of a forgettable film. And I'm going to give Murder on the Orient Express a C+.